Yeah, so Carlos is on a vacation. He's at a nude bird convention. They are naked birds. They are all together. How are you?
Okay, I'm okay.
Are you excited for Mass Effect Legendary Edition,
Not really.
Captain?
No, not really. No,
Oh, you're not?
no.
Well, that's good. I'm not really either. I never was really a big fan of the Mass Effect games. But if you're going to buy it, it runs better on the Series X than it does on the PlayStation 5. You artificial pickle.
Oh, kiss me.
What?
Oh, yes. Please.
Choke on it. Skip it up and that up. So we know that Microsoft is going all out with backwards compatibility. One of the cool things they just did, for example, and if you haven't played this game, it is an 8th gen underrated gem. Titanfall 2, for example, there is a boost mode on it where you can now play it at 120 FPS, which is absolute. The game was meant to be played at that frame rate. And if you haven't played Titanfall 2, play it. Whether it be on PC or console, play the game. It's amazing. Discord, go away. Go away. The whole entire time I did not get a message, and as soon as I start recording, I get one. Thank you. Well, anyway, we have the Mass Effect Legendary Edition coming up, which is a remastered version of the first 3 games. And on the Xbox Series X, it's going to run better. Have double the frame rate. So if you're playing on console and you have a choice between the PS5 and Series X, you're going to want to play it on the Series X. This comes from egmnow.com. I'm going to read it to you, then we will discuss. Mass Effect Legendary Edition will have 2 different graphical options for every platform, quality and performance. If it wasn't obvious, quality prioritizes graphical fidelity and performance prioritizes frame rate. The latter is where Xbox Series X has an advantage over the PlayStation 5. Where the Xbox Series X boasts 1440p at 120 frames per second in performance mode, the PlayStation 5 only hits 1440p at 60 FPS. Both boast 4K at 60 FPS in quality mode. Now, the reason this may be is that the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a PS4 and Xbox One game, and it'll be running in backwards compatibility mode on the current gen consoles. It's actually, the game is for the previous gen consoles, the PS4 and Xbox One. But EGM continues here and says, the Xbox One X, PlayStation 4 Pro, and Xbox Series X are targeting the same benchmarks. 4K, most likely upscaled and not native at 30 FPS in quality mode, and 1440p 60 FPS in performance mode. Meanwhile, the base PS4 and Xbox One consoles are going for 1080p at 30 FPS in quality and 1080p at 60 FPS in performance, which means performance mode will probably use an upscaled version of 1080p. Now, Microsoft has made it very easy for developers to put these modes into place, like 120 FPS and higher resolution on older games or games meant for previous generation titles without any effort, whereas Sony is a pain in the ass with it. So there you go. This is just, it's not a huge deal, but I think it's bigger than people realize, because going from 60 to 120 FPS is an enormous difference. I don't know if you say you have both consoles, go play Titanfall 2 on the Xbox Series X. Go play it at 120 FPS. Try to go back to 60. You can't. I used to think that anything above 60 was silly, like, it's not that big a deal. I've seen it. Yeah, it looks smoother, but it doesn't really affect the gameplay that much. I was wrong. I was very wrong. It has a world of difference. Like 120 FPS is awesome. Even going higher is even better. But man, that is a sweet spot. You feel it. The response time on the gamepad is so much better. The gameplay is so much more fluid and fast paced. Like it's basically equivalent of going from 30 to 60. Going from 60 to 120 feels like just as much of a jump. So this is where Microsoft has it right. Look, Sony's doing great things with exclusives. I like their UI better. Games like Ghost of Tsushima are an absolute must-buy for the PS5 or PS4, but Microsoft is really embracing backwards compatibility in a way that Sony is not doing, and I think in the future, if they don't play catch-up, it's going to bite them in the ass. Playing a game, like, look, I know Mass Effect is an RPG, but it's like a third person, has kind of like Gears of War gameplay. I have played it before. And you will feel that difference. The game will be faster. It will be fluid. It will be more fun. I enjoy high frame rates so much now as I get older and become more of a boomer that I'd rather play a game at medium and low settings and have it be at 120 FPS or higher than play a game at max settings and hit 60 FPS or below. That's how much of a difference it makes in gameplay. So I'm hoping in the future that Sony makes it easier for developers to do this, because it should be able to be done. There's not that much of, at least from what I've seen, and maybe a hardware engineer or a software engineer could disprove what I'm saying, but at least what I see on paper, the difference in performance shouldn't be that games on the PS5, like a backwards compatible remaster of the Mass Effect trilogy, should be able to run at 1440p 120 on the PS5, no problem. But Sony is not giving developers an easy time to make that happen. And obviously people want it. People enjoy it. Again, if you have access to the Series X and can play Titanfall 2 and put on boost mode and play the game at 120 FPS, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Sony, you got to embrace this stuff more. People are enjoying it. They're loving backwards compatible games, actually getting a performance and graphical fidelity increase. And that's Microsoft's strong point right now. Sony, make it your strong point too. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
Hey, if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a Review Tech USA member. I'll have a link below in the description. I live stream now on this channel all the time, and it gives you access to cool emoticons to use as well while I live stream. Again, link below in the description. Thank you for your continued support.